Hey everybody from Beantown to your town. This is the Beantown Beatdown. I'm Matthew Barris.
Gabe Shamus here, also from Beantown.
That's right. And got some Bud Light Lime margaritas, lemonade.
Lemonade Ritas.
25 ounce cans. And this flavor is going to be one of many flavors that I'm going to have for the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Fight night.
That's right. Tomorrow night, Saturday at 9 o'clock on pay-per-view.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Sweet. So this is our pre-fight night debut here on the Beantown Beatdown.
Yes, it is. And you know what? This is a fight that the whole world has been waiting 5 years for, since 2009. Okay? They have been waiting years for this fight to happen.
Yeah, totally.
And let me just say, this couldn't have happened any sooner, and I'm just glad that it's finally going down. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, 47-0, taking on Manny Pacquiao, 57-5 in two draws.
Okay.
And this fight is not just for belts. I mean, Floyd is the WBC and WBA welterweight champion. Manny Pacquiao is the two-time WBO welterweight champion. But this fight is for legacy, and it is for bragging rights.
Most definitely bragging rights.
Yeah, and you know, this fight, everybody's been talking about this fight. I mean, it's not one of these fights where you're just going to hear about on the news. You know, you're not going to
just hear about it in the fight circles. And
yeah,
I know that.
ESPN and all the sports news things.
Right. I wasn't planning to seek it out or hear about it. You know, I was thinking of doing research. You know, since we've been talking about it on the show, but I wasn't planning to seek it out or anything like that. But it has come to me. You know, I was watching TV in my break room at work, and Extra, the Hollywood show, was on, and they were talking it up a storm, you know. They're talking about all the stars that are going to be there. They're talking about they said whether the fighters win or lose, there's already economic winners, you know, Vegas being a big one.
Oh yeah, baby, it's Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Yeah. But like that Vegas hasn't had a fight this, you know, this large, this anticipated, you know, for many years.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, the stars are definitely going to be out. I mean, Clint Eastwood's going to be there.
Yeah.
Our own Academy Award-winning Beantown boys, Ben and Matt, are going to be there.
Very nice. Yep.
Jamie Foxx is going to be at the fight.
Yeah, I remember.
And of course, another Beantown boy, Mark Wahlberg, is going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Huge boxing fan. He's actually close friends with both Manny and Floyd.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, Diddy's going to be there as well, and so will Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I was about to say some of the music stars. What's her name? Nicki Minaj. I'm not a fan, but she's going to be there. You know, for sure.
Oh yeah, well because Nicki is signed to Lil Wayne. Well, what used to be Lil Wayne's label, Cash Money, and Lil Wayne is close friends with Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. I'm glad you can bring the 6 degrees of separation here.
Oh yeah. And you know, 50 Cent is, as a matter of fact, I was watching ESPN First Take today, and you know, 50 Cent and Jamie Foxx were both on there, and 50 and Floyd were close, and then there was a falling out, there was a beef, and since then they've made up, and 50 is picking Floyd Mayweather. As a matter of fact, you know, I know how confident he is. 50 Cent is betting $1.6 million on Floyd.
Oh.
Yes.
That's some money to throw down.
Yeah. Diddy and Wahlberg, they're betting $250,000, which is lunch money compared to what Floyd's betting. And of course, that money's going to go to charity.
Right. Yeah, I saw that on TV too. They were talking people are picking sides and whatnot. And I think Matt Damon or one of them was one of the guys who picked sides, and I wish I remembered who he picked. But
yeah,
for sure.
Oh yes, exactly. I mean, this has been on not only Extra, but it's been on The View.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had the president of the WBC on Monday go on The View, and he presented the new gold belt that will be presented at the fight. They've been talking a whole lot about it on TMZ, and TMZ Live, TMZ Sports. I mean, TMZ everything.
Imagine, yeah. TMZ everything.
Yeah, matter of fact, shout out to Harvey and those guys.
All right. Shout out to the TMZ crew.
Oh yes, and Siobhan, if you're single, oh man, yeah, she's a good-looking woman. And let's see, and this fight, since it's been brought up and people have been anticipating and waiting for this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 fights that comes to mind. 4 super fights that come to mind, because everyone's been comparing this to all the super fights in the past, and I mean, the 4 that come to my mind are Ali Frazier 1, Leonard and Hearns, Lewis versus Tyson, Hagler versus Hearns, and Leonard versus Hagler.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, 5. Sorry.
But yeah. Those are like standouts in the history of fighting. You're saying.
Yeah, in the history of boxing, and it reminds me of Lewis and Tyson, because it was like it's like 2 networks coming together. I mean, I remember that, because like Mike Tyson at the time was at Showtime, even though he had already been at HBO in the mid to like early 90s. And then Lewis was over at HBO, and so it was like the 2 networks, they got together and said, you know what, let's work together and let's broadcast the fight.
Right.
And it also reminds me of Hagler and Leonard, because people had wanted to see Hagler and Leonard fight for years. I mean, there was one of those fights. Yeah, people thought it may not happen because Leonard was going in and out of retirement and stuff like that, and then it finally happened in '87. And Leonard beat Hagler, having not fought for a while too.
Really?
Oh yeah, he beat him at a high level. And it also reminds me of Ali Frazier, because the first Ali Frazier fight, the fight of the century, everyone called it, back in 1971.
Right.
I mean, in that fight, all the stars were out there. Matter of fact, Frank Sinatra was actually a ringside photographer for that fight.
Really?
Yes, the chairman of the board himself. Yeah, Sinatra was there. Woody Allen was there.
Oh man.
Diana Ross was there. In fact, when Ali lost to Joe Frazier, because Ali was like, he was sitting there on a bed and stuff. His jaw was, his face was swollen from the left hook Frazier dropped him with in the 15th round. Diana Ross was actually backstage and actually cried, crying and hugging Ali and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that just goes to show you the significance and the importance of that fight. And with Leonard and Hearns, the first Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard fight, it was a fight for bragging rights, just like this fight was. Right. It's like Ray was the WBC champion. He was a 2-time WBC welterweight champion, regained the title from beating Duran in the No Mas fight. And Tommy was the WBA champion, knocking out. He won the fight, and then he knocked out Pepino Cuevas. And this was a fight everybody had wanted to see, and it finally happened. Yeah. And of course, I have to mention Hearns and Hagler, because it's been 30 years since they fought. And back in April, it was the 30-year anniversary of Hearns and Hagler. The eight rounds of they called it. They had 2 names. They call it the 8 rounds of hell and the 8 rounds. They call it. Sorry, the alcohol's getting to me now. Yeah. The 8 minutes of fury, and they call it 8 minutes of hell, because for those 3 rounds, man, they just went at it. Just throwing punches, and you could actually see the sweat coming out of the TV.
Oh man. I bet.
Yes, and of course, my money is on Mayweather. I'm picking Floyd to win this fight. I don't think he's going to be beaten. I think Pacquiao's going to come out the first round. He's going to come out charging him. try to set the pace. But then Floyd is gonna discover, as he always does, he's gonna discover his weakness, and eventually he's just gonna get to work. And then in the mid and late rounds, Floyd's just gonna be like doing the shoulder roll thing and just pop, 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 pow. He's gonna pop Pacquiao, and I see Mayweather winning this by a 12-round split decision. It's gonna be a close fight, but as usual, Floyd Mayweather is gonna win this. What about you? You got any picks for the fight?
Right. Well, I don't really know. I feel like I've only been educated since we knew about this fight going on. Like, that's the only time I actually knew about both of these fighters. So, it's not a great place to be making guesses about it. But I wish I had 50 Cent's confidence, and I guess that's.
You wish you had 50 Cent's money too.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I guess that's similar to your confidence in Mayweather. I'm not sure. I think that I would like to think that from what I've seen of Pacquiao, the little I know, I'd like to think that he's very spry, and they always say the light on your feet, if you know how to use it, can really come in handy. So I think that would give them a run for their money, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Floyd is definitely more focused for this fight than any other fight he's ever had, because if you ever watch the countdown shows for Floyd's fights, he has like an appreciation night for himself. He'll have the party and people popping the bottles and dressing up fancy and having the party. Not for this fight. This fight, he is 100% focused. No appreciation party. The celebrities still come to the gym and watch him work out. Hit the mitts, hit the bag, and skip rope and stuff. But for this fight, he is 100% focused.
Yeah. Well, that's good then.
Yeah, and
of course. Wait, who was it? Nelly would say, "What good is all the fame if you ain't popping the balls?"
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess he's already got the fame, so now it's about the glory and the bragging rights, as you said.
Oh yes, most definitely. And Floyd, he's actually had a former opponent, Zab Judah, training with him, sparring with him, because Zab Judah is a southpaw, and Pacquiao's a southpaw too, and so Floyd, he has somebody there that can mimic a little bit of what Pacquiao can do as a southpaw, because
I see.
Yeah, the one thing in combat sports I know is that southpaw, southpaw is like this,
right.
Right jab, left.
Different than what we're used to.
Yeah, exactly. And Zab and Mayweather, and of course Mayweather fought, Zab Judah and put a whooping on him. But still, this is a whole different type of fighter. And when Floyd is, taking on a southpaw, sometimes they do give him trouble. So Floyd has somebody to mimic, Pacquiao's movements and stuff like that. And get this, he's going Rocky IV on the trading by chopping wood. He had a bunch of, they showed it on the All Access. He had a bunch of guys get these tree stumps, and they put him in his backyard, and Floyd is in the backyard, and he's chopping wood.
Oh man, you gotta have the whole swing with the axe.
Yeah, that's the thing, because because in training, in fights, that's what fighters do. Like, they either chop the wood, or if you ever watch any UFC countdown shows, you'll see fighters with a sledgehammer and hitting the tires and stuff. Yeah, and that's one of the things nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to go out there and chopping down a tree, or take a big sledgehammer and try to hit it with a tire as many times, to simulate punching and stuff like that. That's one of the workouts nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go jogging, or do the rope thing, where you do with the rope, you do the...
Yeah, exactly.
That nobody wants to do that, but, you gotta do it.
They probably want to do the chopping wood and the sledgehammer more than the other two things. The other two things is when you really test it. Getting up early to run is like, but I mean, at least it's kind of fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm chopping down this tree or I'm smashing this shit.
Yeah, and well, that's how it is, man. That's the thing about being a fighter. You gotta do things that nobody wants to do.
Right.
And I'm having a big fight party for this, man. I'm getting Taco Bell. I'm getting Taco Bell for this fight, so there's gonna be a long line for the bathroom after people are eating. There's gonna be long lines in my house, and there's gonna be some Bud Light margaritas. I got the lime, I got the strawberry, I got the mango, and the lemonade. And here's the thing I don't get with the variety packs for the Bud Light margaritas. Why do they have 6 limes and the rest are 4? I mean, lime is okay. It's not something people really go out of their way for. They like the strawberry more and the other flavors more than the lime. So why are they pushing the lime?
Right. Well, I think I can answer that one. I think the lime is more reminiscent of a traditional margarita, and it's more like subdued and downplayed. So I think they figure that they have to attract more people to it than would even drink any of those flavors, and therefore they have to have the flavor that's the most subdued and downplayed have the edge and the count. That's my take on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess
personally, consider that.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I had the lime. The lime is okay, but when they came out with when Bud Light first started coming out with the margaritas, it was like there was lime and there was strawberry. Lime, cool. Strawberry, yes, definitely want to drink this. And then they came out with the other flavors, and they were much better. And also, I'm gonna have some Doritos there, And it's Cinco de Mayo weekend so we gotta go with the theme, Plus, Mayweather's have fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and there are a lot of Mexicans that come to Vegas on those nights. They really do, man. Just like back in the '90s, with Julio Cesar Chavez, and they've always whenever there was a fight, the Mexicans would come out, So Cinco de Mayo, there's going to be the Filipinos for for Manny. There's going to be the Americans for Mayweather.
Right.
And then there's Mexicans for a whole lot of boxing fans, although I do got to say that Leo Santa Cruz is fighting on the undercard. He's a bantamweight, featherweight champion. And he's a Mexican, so I know a lot of Mexican fans are going to be there to see the undercard for Leo Santa Cruz.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's going down live Saturday, May 2nd from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cinco de Mayweather on May per view. See, ever since Floyd took over the game, we've had to change a few things.
Apparently.
Yes, we've had. And, by the way, you bring anything for the fight? You bring any food or any?
Yeah, I would definitely bring something if you want to text me what you want. I'll bring it.
Well, you can. There's gonna be tacos. I got the tacos. I'm gonna get the burritos. I'm gonna get some quesadillas. That new quesadilla thing that came out for Taco Bell. I'm gonna get that. I got a lot of Doritos chips. And
maybe some nachos.
Yeah, my brother Wayne. Hey Wayne, what's up? My brother Wayne, he's gonna be bringing nachos.
Okay, good. You got the nachos covered.
Yeah, and by the way, do they still sell the sriracha stuff at Taco Bell? Because I love those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I would definitely like that because I thought that was an awesome idea. I love sriracha, and I think that they do it in chips or the shell form. I would love that.
Yeah, the sriracha. I had the sriracha beef, and that was hot. It was hot, but I don't mind the heat though.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, you know what they say. You can't stand the heat. You better get the fuck out of the kitchen. So now we're gonna get into the rant of the day and
my rant of the day. Yep. So all right, since this is one of the fights of one of the super fights, and I was gonna say one of the fights of the century, but it's being called the fight of the century right now.
Right.
So this is the fight of the century. Someone on TV was like, interesting, since the century is only 15 years young. But since this is the fight of the century, and this is like, you know, one of those matchups that people have been wondering about, and you know, talking, the true fight fans have been talking about. You know, I had mentioned a while back in another podcast that I think there's a reason we want to see like different types of people matched up against each other in fighting, and there's a reason why we also do it completely hypothetically with movie characters, with superheroes. So,
well, yeah, Batman and Superman next summer.
Woo! Here we go. Exactly. Yeah. Everyone maybe not centuries, but more than a century has been asking Batman and Superman, and that was actually going to be my first question.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, for this occasion, I'm going to be asking those superhero hypothetical fight questions. So, first up, Batman and Superman. I think that you know, Batman definitely has the strength. He has the speed. You know, there's a reason that he took over in the 80s. There's a lot of things he, you know, just can do by the sheer force of will and muscle. You know, and then, you know, Batman has the dark mystique, and he has technology and a lot of other things at his disposal. So, I want to say that Superman would win it, because I know that just by the sheer impact of him from flying, or like you know, how he can throw a train or whatever that thing was in the second movie, you know, that he would definitely have it. But you know, the thing about Batman is that Batman's got stealth, you know, among other things, and I think Batman would pull something out of his belt or from under his sleeve and be like, oh, right in Superman's eye. You know? So yeah, I think that even though Superman has the physical edge, I guess I kind of also want to give it to Batman, so maybe I'm biased, but I think Batman might have the sort of stealthy edge, and that might actually be more important to win the fight. Right. What would you think about that?
Well, yeah, I think Batman would win, because I read Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, and that was a book that came out in 1986, and one of the many graphic novel stories that inspired the Batman movie in 1989, along with Batman Year One, which was, in fact, both those books were written by Frank Miller, who I heard is returning to Batman. Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah. And of course, if you've read the comics, sorry, this is a spoiler, but there's a fight scene between Batman and Superman, and Batman is wearing this, large, you know, suit. And just like you saw in the teaser for Batman vs. Superman teaser trailer, you know, so of course they're going off of the Dark Knight on that one. And you know, with that suit, Batman is almost equal to Superman, because he has the suit, and it's you know, he can pack more of a punch. I mean, he won't be able to do all the karate and jiu-jitsu stuff like he does with normal villains or normal opponents, but you know, he can still keep up with Superman, and with that. So that's why I think Batman wins. And also you know, check out the comic book if you ever get a chance, and also check out the animated movie that Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, which is, and the voice of Batman is voiced by Peter Weller, who was in the first two RoboCop movies.
Oh, see, there you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so there you go, stuff like that. To sort of bring in a very different direction, my boyfriend, shout out to Jabari. He also believes that you know, there's a reason we were all into Superman in the 80s. It had to do with the Cold War and things like that. Supremacy of will and strength. But there's a reason that we're so completely into Batman now, and it has to do with transforming ourselves, with using the darkness inside us to our advantage. It's like there are deeper meanings to all of these things as well. So when I said I want to give it to, my bias is to give it to Batman, it's also because of stuff like that. It's because I think Batman's more balanced and a better representation of where we're actually going in humanity. So, there's that. All right, so moving on. So I don't know how the WWE does it, but like the UFC, we also give equal credence to women fighters. So next up, Catwoman versus Wonder Woman was her name.
Yeah, Catwoman versus Superwoman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. The quintessential one with the W across her breast or something, and like the cuffs that deflect bullets. She's the one. What do you think about that?
I give it to Wonder Woman because her lasso, she can make, when she puts that lasso around, she can make anybody do whatever
she wants. Yeah, exactly. Her lasso has always been very prominent. It's been something that stops what would seem like unstoppable forces. So yeah, I would agree. The one sort of wild card in that is that Catwoman, I think, has a whip. Doesn't Catwoman have a whip or something?
Oh, yeah.
And of course that's, sexual in its own right, but that has, could mean something else in the bedroom. But anyway, that does sort of throw a wild card in there, is that, Wonder Woman can throw her lasso like Catwoman with the whip, So there's that, and I do think that Catwoman would give her a run for money, glide along the night sky as she does, but yeah, I don't know. I also am biased towards Wonder Woman. It goes back to my father's generation, and he actually really loved her, So,
you mean the comic book version or the TV version with Linda Carter with the big tits?
Right. Well, there was both of those. Yes. Yeah. So anyway. I think Catwoman would definitely come swinging, especially if she got a lash in, on Wonder Woman. But yeah, Wonder Woman with her lasso and the deflecting cuffs and all that.
Yes. And also, by the way, for those of you who may not know, Linda Carter, who played Wonder Woman in the 70s, she's half Mexican.
Oh,
yeah.
So another shout out to Mexican fans. Very good. Very good.
Yep.
All right. So another thing that's, that of course was super huge, and I really liked the movie, was The Avengers. That was kind of like that, bringing in different superheroes that you wouldn't expect to work together. So, in the movies, of course, they're the Avengers. They work together, but I mean, we could always think of if they had to split off and start fighting each other. Obviously Thor has to fight his brother Loki. That's a big thing in both the movies. So I'm thinking, okay, Thor and Iron Man.
Thor and Iron Man. Ooh.
Here we go, because Iron Man's got some protection from the hammer.
Yes, he does, and yet Thor is a god.
Mm-hmm, which means all sorts of other school power. It's almost like the power of nature coming at you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on a limb and call it a draw.
Interesting. Yeah, they might have to just pull back eventually, because Iron Man could keep getting hit by the hammer and going back, and then he doesn't. What does he have? He has some sort of thing on his fist or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, he could throw that at Thor, and then Thor goes.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. There's not sometimes when people talk about this stuff, there's not many draws, so it's good when there is one.
Well, yeah, exactly, and and also one thing to compare superheroes in the world of fighting is,
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that, well, if you look at, the martial arts movies, it's like the martial arts, the Jackie Chans, the Bruce Lees, the Sonny Chibas, the Jet Lees, their martial art is their superpower.
Mm-hmm.
It's, Bruce Lee, of course, has a background in Wing Chun and in Tai Chi, but having also studied boxing and learning, kicks from Taekwondo and karate and stuff, of course, he makes his own superpower, Jeet Kune Do.
Mm.
Sonny Chiba, he studied ninjutsu, aikido, shorinji, Kenpo karate, and Kyokushin karate, aikido, and is actually a real life ninjutsu. So and also I was looking at a graphic novel on Batman, Batman Files, and I think it was called whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And they were going into Batman's training and stuff, and you can consider Batman a mixed martial artist. He's he knows boxing, he knows Shotokan karate,
Mm-hmm.
he knows jujitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, and of course he knows. He also has worked in Eskrima, which is like a Filipino martial art, with the kendo sticks and stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that that would explain some of like the old-fashioned fight scenes too. I think they tried to bring that in, which is good. It's good. I like what you said too, though, that the martial arts in like the Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan movies or whatever, that those are like their superpower, because it's true, it really is. And movie you might not have heard of that I'm going to throw out there actually does like truly exaggerate the power of martial arts and makes it seem like a true off the wall superpower, and it's called Kung Fu Hustle.
I've heard of the movie. It's supposed to be like a parody kung fu. I mean,
see, everyone thinks it's a parody. I agree that it's like over the top, and some people think it's tacky, but I think it's not. I think it could be a parody, but it's not necessarily in order to make fun of it. It's in order to exaggerate it and sort of bring in an element of action that other action movie fans would like, besides kung fu fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let's see. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, and the other thing is, with fights and stuff and superheroes, the martial arts. Yeah, I've said this before. Martial arts movie stars. They are themselves, real life superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff, and also, the movies is especially when it comes to martial arts, it is kind of like the world of pro wrestling. Like the WWE or TNA, whatever whichever promotion you watch. It's
right.
you get these two guys who people have wanted to see fight, for years, and then they put them on screen. So
right, totally.
It makes it it makes for an excellent fight.
Mm-hmm.
And
so some of those movie fights are like these super fights in real life, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at all the Rocky movies.
Right.
Rocky and Apollo 1 and 2, Rocky in Clubber Lang 1 and 2, Rocky versus Drago, and of course you have Rocky in the Rocky Balboa movie, Rocky versus Mason the Lion Dixon, which was played by Antonio Tarver, real life light heavyweight champion, great fighter.
Yeah.
So
and then there's one that's there's one I'm thinking of that's kind of obscure and not really well done, but there was one I'm almost sure of, Van Damme and Schwarzenegger, which of course there's those are both huge legends in the movie fighting realm.
Well, actually,
Isn't it
you're probably
Winter Soldier or no?
No, wait, you're
something soldier, and it's like
no Universal Soldier.
Uni-
The first one with Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren.
oh okay.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren played Ivan Drago, and Dolph Lundgren in real life was a karate he was a Shotokan karate legend, fought in karate tournaments, and he was also and of course being in Rocky 4, he was also in Scorpions, and he was also in The Punisher, which was the first movie on The Punisher, which I liked, and he was also in one of Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee's last films, called Showdown in Little Tokyo. Well, actually, it was one of the first films that kind of gave Brandon Lee a little attention. The other one was Rapid Fire, and his last one, of course, was The Crow. Right. But Dolph Lundgren, he's no joke. He's a real life martial artist, and of course, in the movie, Van Damme kicked his ass. In fact, my favorite part was when he broke his arm and he put him in that little what's the name of that engine where it shreds?
You mean like a tree shredder or like a
something like that.
Yeah.
And Van Damme turns it on, and Van Damme goes, "You've been discharged, Sarge." Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's also a huge thing. It's also part of their powers in the movie is that when they make a catchphrase that just so ignites the moment. That's really cool. Hasta la vista, I've heard, actually did not was not a phrase in Spanish until Schwarzenegger made it into one. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And also, just like the superhero, just like in superhero like stories and comic books and in movies, good versus evil. Mm-hmm. This fight between Mayweather and Pacquiao has been deemed good versus evil because they see Pacquiao, he's the born again Christian, he's a congressman in the Philippines, he's also a movie star and a singer in the Philippines as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then with Floyd Mayweather, of course they see, because he flaunts his wealth. He has the.
I was about to say commercialism for sure.
Yeah, I mean he has he has a garage full of cars. He has 2 Bugattis. In fact, Stephen A. Smith from ESPN First Take, he was interviewing him, and they were talking about his cars, and Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith was talking about the cars, and Floyd says, each car I have, for a city, like one car for New York, he drives one car in Los Angeles, one for Vegas, and Stephen A. goes, why you do that? Why you do that? And Floyd goes, I'm just being a brat. He's a millionaire.
He's kind of brat.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
and then isn't Mayweather the one that he's getting even more money from ads off his shorts?
Yeah, the TMT, the Money Team shorts.
That's something I watched on TV.
Yeah, but they both have similar backgrounds, coming up. Manny Pacquiao was so poor in the Philippines that at 14 he left the house, and in fact his father killed the family dog just for food, just to eat food. I mean, I don't recommend. I know. It's not something I condone, but it's like it's one of those things.
No, definitely not. But.
Yeah, for all you dog lovers and PETA people who might be listening, it's one of those things where it's like, well, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. And for Floyd, he's from a poor background too. He grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Mostly being raised with his grandmother. His father was, he had his father in his life, and then his father went to jail when he was a teenager, and he was coming up in the amateur ranks. And now, to go from Grand Rapids to where he is now, people are thinking like this is a matter of, good versus evil because he flaunts his wealth and the money and stuff. It's kind of like hip hop. They see a rapper. It is kind of racial because the world we live in now, it's still a matter of white guy sees a black guy in a Bugatti or a mansion. It's like, well, you ain't supposed to be driving a nice car. You ain't. My brother Wayne. I'm just putting this out there. I'm not trying to embarrass you or nothing like that. I'm just putting this out there as an example. My brother got stopped one time with his Acura car that he still drives to this day. and the officer was black. The officer was black.
That's even more like just
it's
sad.
It's one of those things where like whoa, you ain't supposed to be driving a nice car, So when they see Floyd, driving a nice car, with living in a mansion, with he has kids and going to the strip club, making it rain, or buying bottles of champagne. Even though he doesn't drink, he'll buy bottles of champagne for other people, but he doesn't drink. Then all of a sudden, they see that as being a villain. I don't personally see that as a villain because I see that as, hey, there's a perfect example of a great athlete making wealth. I mean, trust me, there are guys on the New York Yankees that want Floyd Mayweather's money. That's why he's the richest athlete in the world. He became the richest athlete in the world when he went over to Showtime. I mean, trust me, LeBron James wants his money. Alex Rodriguez wants his money. Trust me, there's even comedians and actors, singers.
Since you brought it up the whole like racial profiling and racial tension thing, there was actually that thing like 2 years ago where Tyler Perry got pulled over. You remember hearing about this?
Oh yeah, I heard about it on TMZ.
Yeah, exactly. Sad. So it's very sad, and that they were also like going to give him like a completely like insane treatment too, until someone finally figured out who he was. But one of the things that they said on MSNBC, which I think was good, was they're like this is the thing. Every now and again, something like this comes along to show us that we shouldn't be acting this way. And they're like, if maybe you should treat everyone like he might be Tyler Perry.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, I mean, Floyd Mayweather is he's 38 years old, but still relatively kind of young. But he's a black man, making money. He's a boxer. He's a promoter, record producer. They see that, and some people look at it as, coming from nothing to something, and others sees that as, like, oh, he's just showing off, kind of like hip hop back in the late 90s, with Diddy, and then later on 50 Cent, and, like the bling bling era and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, I'm completely torn on that, because, like, I kind of think hip hop shouldn't be about showing off, and I think they do it too much, but at the same time, I don't know. A lot of us that judge it in America, we don't know what it was like to try and make something of yourself from absolute scrap nothing. We don't know what that was like. So we shouldn't be judging how they decide to celebrate it now.
Yeah, and oh yeah, because I was about to say for a minute, you ain't gonna be going to 50 Cent's house anytime soon.
Nope.
Yeah, 50 going be like, what? You said all that? Get the fuck out of my
fool.
Yeah, get the fuck off my property.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Lil Wayne, you'd be like, white boy, you talking all this shit? I come from New Orleans, man. You talking all this shit about this thing? I'll fuck your ass up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's just it. I mean we I don't think we're past it. So we definitely can't. We should let them celebrate the way they want to. We can't. Someone else better. I'm not gonna say the word God to make it sound religious, but someone else much higher that knows so much more will eventually figure out whether or not they're being true to themselves and true to people. We shouldn't be the ones trying to judge that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's it. Order the Fight on pay-per-view May 2nd. Tomorrow night, going down Cinco de Mayweather weekend on May-per-view. And if you like this podcast and you want to check out our other episodes, go to youtube.com/serpentscribe.
Subscribe, people.
Subscribe as well. Leave comments. Tell us what you think of the show.
Totally.
And now from Beantown to your town, this is Beantown Beatdown. I'm Matthew Burris.
Dave Chalmers.
Saying Vios con Dios.